What's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan Spath. I'm an investor and realtor here in the Boise metropolitan area, and I am with Keller Williams Boise. Today, I just wanted to do a little bit of call it a deal deep dive. There's a triplex in Canyon County in Caldwell. It's been on the market for a little bit. It's kind of interesting, and honestly, I just want to dive in and just show you guys how I personally analyze properties. I've had a lot of people lately reach out, and they've been curious how this process works. So I just wanted to do sort of a deal deep dive and just throw this on here and see if I can add any value to anybody. So as you can see, this property is in Caldwell. It is a triplex. And when we read through this, it's close to the College of Idaho. And the interesting thing about this particular property, there's actually two triplexes for sale. They're fairly identical. This particular property, two of the three units are 3-bed, 1.5 bath, and one of them is 1-bed, 1 bath. And the other unit, it's all 2-bed, 1 baths. So I just wanted to dive into this triplex and kind of see if it makes sense, what kind of return we could hope to get on this guy, right? So we can see from the listing, it's being offered at $549. If we're going to put 25% down, it's going to be about 140 grand. We'll call it $150 with closing costs. And then I like to use this Mortgage News Daily. It's not the say all be all, but you can see right now conventional rates are 6.6%. So we're going to say this guy would likely be, we'll call it 7.125. Might be high, might be low, but this is going to give us sort of a baseline just to kind of work with. And then when I look at this listing, it tells me the taxes are $35.57. And then the insurance on this guy, we're just going to plug in $2,000 and be a fairly high. This guy, we're not going to have MIP because we are putting 25% down. So let me adjust this number here. So our payment on this is going to be right around $3,300. So now on the pro forma side, let's see. So if you've been following along with me, I'm a big fan of homes.com. When you click on this MLS data, it's going to show us a little bit more information. So right here, we're going to see the rents are $2,650. And then when I actually look on the MLS, which I can't show, I'll tell you what the rents are per room. So just bear with me here. So when I plug this address into the MLS, so it looks like we've got one of the one bed, 1 bath is empty, and the 3 1.5. So we've got $1,330 and $1,320 for the rents. So that's going to play out like such. So we've got $1,330 and $1,320. So this is a 3/1.5, 3/1.5, and then this one is vacant, and this guy is a 1. So let's dive in. Let's do a little bit more deep diving on this guy. So when we look at these photos, it looks to be in decent shape, right? So it kind of looks like maybe this is split. Half of this carport is for this unit, half maybe for this unit. It's hard to say without actually going there and checking it out. Looks like they have little private backyards. Okay, here we go. Covered patio. So 1, 2, 3-bed, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, dining. Okay, so it's kind of giving us the lay of the land for the one unit. 1, 2, 3, 1 bath, kitchen, Doesn't look terrible. Looks like it has baseboard heating, wall units, maybe popcorn ceiling on this guy. It does have a little bit of updating with LVP flooring. You can tell these are pretty short, right? Unless this angles up. I mean, it's just barely over the door. These units are older, shallow, kind of common for this part of town. So this vacant unit doesn't look to be in terrible condition. Maybe even updated a little bit with some backsplash, decent cabinets. More of the same with the baseboard heating. Window unit here for the AC. Cool little units though, right? Okay, so now let's jump into the nitty gritty on this guy. Let's go to Rent-A-Meter. Let's see what these could become, right? Because that's what we're interested in, is what could this turn into. So if you're not familiar with Rent-A-Meter, it is a website that pulls rents. So you literally just copy and paste the address in here. I'm gonna just say $1,600 for the 3-bed, 1.5 bath. And then we're gonna just select, we're just gonna do all. Oh wow, so when you look at this, it looks like the rents are fairly high. And then when we view the pro report, we scroll down here. So house, here's an apartment. Yeah, it's super high. That's probably fake listing maybe, I don't know. Here's an apartment, $1,895. Here's the house, $1,700. So you can see they're getting some pretty good rents on these 3-bed, 1-baths. And this guy doesn't really say what the square footage is on these 3-bed, 1-baths, but I mean, it's got to be at least 1,000 square feet, right? 3,000 divided by 3 is 1,000, like a little bit bigger. So when we look back on here, the property's closer to 1,000 square feet. $1,900. Wow, this is actually looking pretty interesting. So we're just going to use the average, the median, $1,900. Let's say we could get that at $1,900. No guarantees, right? But let's say we do $1,900 for each of the 3 beds, and then this last one's a 1-1. So we're going to go back here. And let's just see 1 bed, 1 bath, check these rents. We're just going to use this median number again, $1,100. So if we're able to get $1,100, so potentially $3,900. So now it's looking a little more interesting, right? If we're able to get, 1,100 on that, right? If we're able to get these rents, you can see we're getting double-digit returns now. The question now becomes, this property is a 1977, so I mean, this thing's 50 years old, right? Almost. So the question becomes, how much are we going to need to save up for repairs on this? And then B, how much is it going to cost to get this thing up to speed, as far as just the costs, right? So let's just put 3,000 square feet in here. So 40 grand, and that doesn't factor in 3 sets of cabinets, 3 sets of sinks. And you may not need to do this, right? Like, we'd want to go actually look at this guy and kind of see where we're going to land, right? Like, looking back at this, it doesn't look to be in terrible condition, right? It's dated. So it's going to need maintenance, right? The repairs are going to be higher. But it looks to be decent, right? It looks just to be under rented kind of. So let's just say we are able to do this. Let's add another 10K. Let's say 50K on this investment analysis. So we're going to come back here and we're just going to add 50 grand on here just to see what this would do. So our all in on this is going to be 200K. And then you can see it's a 9% cash on cash return. This doesn't factor in any vacancy, right? Canyon County, it's about 6%. We are going to have to pay for lawn care unless we're going to go push our lawnmowers on this, which I would not advise doing. There's no HOA. The lawn care on this, I mean, it's a decent sized lot, right? It's almost a half an acre, probably $250 a month, let's say. I'm not seeing anything. It does say that there is water expense on the MLS, and that looks like it's $3K annually. So $250 a month on that. So you can see this number is kind of trickling down a little bit. And then my personal experience with older properties, we save about 16%. So what's going on here? Of the rents. So I mean, this thing pretty much, so it's not looking as good now that we kind of factor in all the realities of the situation to get this guy done. You just wonder if we were to fix this thing up and get it reappraised, is it going to appraise a little bit higher than this number, or is this 549 where this guy's going to land at, right? When we look here, this thing's been on the market for a little while now. I guess not really, a few weeks. So you can kind of see this thing. It's interesting, right? If we were able to get this at the right price, and if these rents were able to be achieved, this could be a decent little property, right? We're factoring in quite a bit for CapEx. We're paying for the lawn care. We are factoring in the vacancy numbers. This is an interesting property if you've got a couple $100,000 lying around and you wanted to deploy it into real estate. I am personally bullish of this particular location. You can see here, where is the College of Idaho at? Near here. Let's just do this. Let's go to MapQuest. So we're going to take this address and let's see how far it is from a couple places that I'm a big fan of. So we're going to start here at the property and let's go to the College of Idaho. So this is minutes from the College of Idaho. Another recommendation or area that Indian Creek. The Indian Creek Plaza. So this guy's 2 miles from Indian Creek. So this part of Caldwell, it's really getting a lot of monies coming in this downtown area. There's a lot of events that take place here. And Caldwell in general is just, in my opinion, it's kind of an overlooked area. So this property, it could be interesting, right? Like if we were able to acquire this guy at the right price after viewing the inside of it, the rate is going to be a big factor, right? Like, can we get this rate down a little bit, whether it be with concessions or buying it down? We would want to dial in this insurance number. This could be plus or minus $500. And then lastly, after walking the property, we would want to just dig into these other comparables that we saw on Rent-A-Meter and see, are these numbers high? Are these numbers low? Kind of where does this land? And then after we checked it out inside, we'd know kind of how much we needed to invest to pop this in here. I mean, what if instead of having to put 50K into it, what if that number is 20? You know, what if it's just What if it's just fresh paint, just doing some minor updating and bringing it up to speed? You've got a little less money in the deal. Still kind of a horrible cash on cash return from that perspective, but again, you are factoring the vacancy, you're factoring in lawn care, water, sewer, trash, and then a pretty big chunk for the CapEx just because of the age of the unit. I'd be interested to see, what do you guys think? Do you think this is something that you'd be interested in pursuing? Do you think this is a good deal? Do you think this is a bad deal? I'd be curious. Just leave your comments below. Let me know what you think on that. Again, my name is Ryan Spath. I'm an investor turned agent here in the Boise metropolitan area, and I'm with Keller Williams Boise. If you found this video valuable and you'd like to learn more, please shoot me a text, give me a call. Let's set up a call. Let's see how I can help you build your wealth through real estate.